What is up, folks? It is Monday again, so we got a Monday meta update coming in for you. And this is probably the last one before the new set. So we're going to take a look at everything that's going on, standard, historic, alchemy, etc. And look at some brews, and then maybe a little bit of talk about the new set that's coming out and what's going to happen with that. So check it out. Alrighty, kicking us off is the standard meta, standard best of one. Um, right now, standard is looking kind of solved. I mean, I would still say it's a little bit more flexible now that some of the big bad cards have been banned. Invoke Despair and Fable of the Mirror Breaker in particular. So and even Bankbuster somewhat. So it's kind of made more decks open, more decks available. I think pretty much any like well-crafted deck will get you around 54% win rate. And then if you want something higher than that, you gotta probably play one of the meta decks that are doing well. So yeah, if we look here, popularity, mono red, still popular, mono white humans, still popular. Enchantments was recently coming up, still popular, burn, etc. And then Azorius control, kind of the only little bastion of control hanging in there. And the rest, we don't care about the rest. So yeah, win rate though, still in the aggro's court. Pretty much all the aggro decks are on top, as usual. And yeah, I still don't understand so many people who are aggro players. They complain that aggro's not doing well, but every stat, every metric I see, aggro is doing well. Every time I play it on the ladder, I mean, it feels like pretty much 50-50 against them in a lot of cases. So I know in for sure best of one aggro is really good. In best of three, yeah, it's a little bit less good, but it still seems to hold its own. So anyway, the best of one, you want to be most likely on mono white, Naya humans, mono red, Leslie enchantments, Azorius soldiers, mono red burn. All the top decks are aggro decks, and Selesnya Toxic, still pretty much aggro deck, but a little bit more leaning towards tempo. And then Azorius Control and Esper. The Azorius Control is the control deck. Esper is the mid-range deck. And that's kind of your best decks right now. And like I said, if you have a pretty well-tuned, well-crafted deck of something else, you can make it work. But these are the ones that are pretty solid and will definitely get you to Mythic. All right, best of three. Oh, before we go there, I wanted to look at the Azorius control deck just to kind of see what people are playing. So we got a 61%er here. That's pretty nice. Jace, Wandering Emperor, 4 Sunfall, 2 Farewell. Yeah, that's actually about the ratio I found to be very nice. 4 Sunfall, 2 Farewell. It just seems like the perfect amount to deal with the aggro decks and to deal with the annoying enchantment decks. So it makes sense to me. Elspeth Smite, okay. Destroy Evil. Yeah, that one's really key as well. Negate, 2 negates. That's about what I was finding, is about 2 negates seems good. Union of the Third Path for the life gain. Dissipate, interesting. I was not running Dissipate, but I know some people really like that, so I could see it. And Memory Deluge 4 of, wow, that's pretty wild, but okay. Yeah, most of it makes sense. You stall out a little bit with your unions, you remove some of the early annoying creatures with this one, and then you want to come down with your Sunfall and your Farewells in the late game to win. Okay, got it. So yeah, control can work. It's probably annoying for the other people, but it does work. All right, best of three. We got popular today, Dimir mid-range, Esper control, mono red, Esper legends, and some other ones like enchantments and humans. Win rate today, Esper legends and mono red. So those are kind of your top ones. Dimir doing okay, Esper control doing okay. And then if we go to the tier list, Esper Legends is on top. So actually, it moved up. So it was not the #1 deck, but it seems to be doing quite well in this last week. Orzhov midrange also doing very well. That's basically the mono white control, but splashing black. And mono red aggro, it's still in the top 3. It's been top 3 for the last, I don't know, almost 10 weeks now probably. So you can play aggro in best of 3, people. I don't know who needs to hear it. You can play mono red aggro in best of 3. It's winning. It's winning. People are winning. It has super high win rate, super high match count, super high win rate. So if you love aggro, mono red. Okay, there you go. If you're losing with mono red, maybe try to watch your plays. Think about what mistakes you might have made. Think about what resources you might have wasted that caused you to lose. Because people are winning. People are winning. That's all I can say. All right, but the sleeper deck right now in best of 3 is this Dimir midrange deck. This was I don't know for sure, but I think Crows made this deck. Because I saw him playing it before it got like popular, and then I saw other people playing it. So I think he was the one who kind of pioneered this. I could be wrong, but yeah, as far as I know, Crows was the first one to play this kind of deck. And actually, this version is different. This is the version that Crows was playing down here with the Fairy Masterminds, with the Kaitos, with your Lilies, with your Urtai. A little bit different version than this one, but similar, very similar. This one is different, and that has a higher win rate. Evolve Sleeper, Misery Shadows. This is kind of like mono black, but you splash a little bit of blue for Urtai, for Make Disappear, and for a few sideboard counter spells. Interesting. So actually, according to this, the mono black shell with a little bit of blue is doing better. That is interesting. But check out Crow's videos. He's a pretty cool guy, and he's always a control mage, loves to do some control stuff. So he's got a different version of his Dimir that he was wrecking the ladder with. All right. If we look at historic, kind of same old. Is it wizards, or is control, mono green elves, Rakdos, etc. Nothing too special there. But when we look at the ladder over this current meta, Kethis combo has come to the top, which is very interesting. This was not even on the radar for the last few weeks now, and suddenly it's become popular again. So Kethis was a menace for a while. I think one of the pieces of the Kethis combo got banned, maybe, or there was some reason it stopped getting played. I don't know. Maybe it was losing to Arclight Phoenix too much. Not sure, but suddenly it's back. Jace, maybe the new kind of invention to help keep this going, because you can play it off Kethis. That's what happened when I played against some historic decks. That's what they were doing. They kept Jacing themselves. So maybe that's the piece that made it work again, and it's back. It's strong. 63%, almost 64% win rate. Pretty crazy. So yeah, Kethis. Got Kinnan, Kethis, Jace, Relic of Legends, Rona. Oh yeah, this whole thing going on. Rona plus Relic. That's another piece of the puzzle. Getting to tap for infinite mana with this, as well as their Mox Amber. So you got 2 ways to loop infinite mana, basically. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, Kethis 4-color in historic. That's the new hot deck. Doing well. Pretty hard to deal with. Need a bunch of graveyard hate if you really want to deal with it, and nobody's running that right now. So Kethis, pretty cool. All right, I thought we'd take a look at Alchemy. The new Lord of the Rings set is coming out in just 2 days, and it's available in Historic, Explorer, and Alchemy. Hopefully I got that right. Definitely Historic and Alchemy. Not sure about Explorer. So I think it's going to shake up Alchemy quite a bit. Unfortunately, Crucius is still legal, and Crucius is still mind-bogglingly annoying and should be banned or nerfed, but for some reason they never do it. However, when I was playing the pre-release event, the food decks were really strong. So I have a feeling that the food decks are going to be up here with these top decks here. So probably There's still going to be some annoying Grixis stuff going on. Of course, mono red burn, good in every format, literally every format right now on Arena. Enchantments also good in pretty much every format on Arena. And then I think food is going to be up here. It felt really strong, really hard to deal with, really resilient. There was so many ways to trigger the like infinite combos with the food decks. So yeah, pretty scary. Infinite combos and alchemy seems pretty scary. So yeah, it's gonna be good. That's all I can say. I'm sure food is gonna be good. 100% sure it's gonna be good in alchemy and maybe even historic. Someone played like a cat oven deck against me with the food stuff, and that was insane because there's Samwise Gamgee makes a food whenever a creature enters, so you just do the cat oven loop with Samwise Gamgee. Crazy. It's really strong. So yeah, I think food is gonna wreck both those formats, and we'll just have to see how good it is. All right. Yeah, let's look at some of the brews that people have been trying out. Not a whole lot, and also no tournaments this week. I don't know why. No tournaments, probably because the new set's coming out. But yeah, whatever. So let's look at some of the brews, and unfortunately, that one is nothing. So we have Azorius Control. Someone got to Mythic with Azorius Control. This is kind of we saw something similar to this last week where it was like a mono white control, but they added some blue. And I think this one has even more blue than that version. It's got the full 4 copies of Make Disappear, Thirst for Discovery, Invasion of New Phyrexia, Memory Deluge, and 3 Teferi. So this is a pretty much straight up Azorius Control with Wedding Announcement just for the value, I suppose, and the blockers. Yeah, this looks good. This might be Azorius Control that takes you to Mythic. I mean, it looks very solid. Got plenty of removal. Got a lot of annoying creatures and planeswalkers. Looks pretty good. Another one we got to Mythic with is this Gruul deck. I believe this was Gruul Standard, yeah. Yes, looks like. So Gruul and Standard, we do have this Hajar is one of the good Gruul cards. Oh, actually, they don't really have that many new cards, so it's just mono red, but they splash a little bit of green for some of the sagas. Yeah, so mono red already very good, splashing green. It might honestly be nerfing the mono red deck, but the person got to 96 mythic with it, so can't say it's a bad deck. So check it out if you like aggro decks. And then we got a few of the like historic and alchemy decks. So this is historic. Blue Eye Control. You know, we've seen this before, but this one's with Callum. And Relic of Progenitus is one that doesn't see a whole lot of play. I guess that's to deal with like Kethis and stuff like that. Archmage Charm, of course, very good. Change the Equation is a new one that people are trying out. So looks pretty normal, but I guess got a little bit of extra graveyard hate and a little bit of exile to deal with some of those new annoying decks. And finally, Alchemy. Mono Black seems pretty good in Alchemy. It's one of the top maybe 5 decks that are doing well in Alchemy right now. Alchemy format's a little bit stale because Grixis is kind of the dominating deck right now in Alchemy. But I think Mono Black definitely seems good, and some of the new cards in the Lord of the Rings set, there's some really good black ones. So we could see Mono Black, you know, go up in the stonks a little bit after the Lord of the Rings set comes out. We'll have to see. All right, so let's talk a little bit about MTG news. So the new set, LTR, Lord of the Rings, is coming out in just a couple days, June 20th. It should be available on MTG Arena. And I want to talk about some of the mechanics because they're going to see play in Historic most likely and Alchemy, but mostly I play Historic, and I think some of you, my subscribers and watchers, probably play Historic as well, maybe as your main format in some cases. So I wanted to give opinion on what I felt worked and what didn't work. First of all, a mass orcs mechanic. Felt good, definitely felt good. It felt pretty free in a lot of cases where like the card was on rate, and then you get the orcs on top as like just a bonus, like countering a spell, and then you get an orc, or drawing some cards and you get an orc, or you play a creature that has some good effect, and then you get an orc. So yeah, it felt definitely pretty good. I played it mostly in a control shell where you're like stopping the opponent's stuff and you're making these orcs that they have to waste their removal on. Maybe you get it to like a 2/2 or a 3/3 or something where like, okay, it's annoying enough to them that they have to remove it. And then as soon as they remove it, you cast another amass spell and you get another 1/1, and then the process starts all over again. So you can get some pretty good 2-for-1 card value off of it because they have to waste their removal. And yeah, it kind of fits perfectly in control, in my opinion, because um, you don't need much else of a win con. You just cast your sweepers, cast your counter spells, you're making these tokens, opponent has to deal with it, and yeah, so it works out pretty well for you. So I think a Mass Works is good. Definitely good in Alchemy, could be good in Historic in some places, maybe in small doses, but still, that's not nothing. However, the Hobbit food mechanic is super, super powerful, super pushed, and I think it's going to be really broken in every format, Alchemy and Historic. Just you generating food every time you play a creature, or every time you attack, or every time you tap is just really crazy. There's like the cat food oven kind of stuff going on in Historic already. So now you have other ways to generate infinite food by like you play the cat, you sack the food, bring the cat back, it makes another food, then you sack the cat, and then like you go full cycle like that. Um, so yeah, it's really good. The food is really good. I think it's going to be some of the top decks in Historic and Alchemy are going to be food decks. So be prepared for that. You can also use it for affinity, things like that, to have a lot of treasures. I mean, not treasures in this case, but food, which are artifacts. So you might see like Michiko's Reign of Truth, where they make a bunch of food and then they Michiko you for like 30 million damage, and then you lose the game. So be prepared for that. Food is very, very good. Uh, the ring tempts you, on the other hand, kind of a failure, I would say. The ring tempting you is not really worth much. Most of the cards it's on, they don't have a big effect besides the ring tempts you, and it's not worth it. It doesn't do really anything. And I already was, a little bit upset by the mechanic itself because it feels like a flavor fail the way that the ring tempts you work. Um like I feel like the ring tempting you should give you maybe like maybe it should be like a small value, a medium value, a large value, and then like the fourth time you do it, your creature dies or something like that. Um, then that would be pretty flavorful because if you think about it, it's like Sauron, even Sauron. Yeah, I guess Sauron. I mean, like he got super high value out of it because he's got all his magic power in it, and then his hand gets cut off. Right, that's like the fourth step. Golem, he like gets the I don't know, but he has some power. He's able to like kill his friend and go invisible and like steal stuff and then eventually he goes crazy and gets consumed by the ring. So that's like would be the last step where it kills your creature. So maybe they could have like step 1 scry 2, step 2 draw a card, step 3 I don't know, play something from your hand to the battlefield, and then step 4 your creature dies or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. So anyway, doesn't matter. They didn't go with that because of yeah, they went with something pretty weak. First step makes your creature legendary and can't be blocked by certain creatures. Second step is you get to cycle a card. Third step, what is third step? When you attack, they lose 3 life or something. And then the fourth step, I don't even know if I've ever seen anybody use the fourth step. So I don't remember what the fourth step does, but it doesn't matter. Mechanic is weak. most of the cards that have it are pretty weak. Like there's one that's like draw a card, sorcery speed, and the ring tempts you. It's not worth it making a creature legendary to have a really bad opt, basically. Things like that, or like bounce a creature and the ring tempts you for 2 mana. It's like, okay, nobody wants to play a 2 mana bounce spell, and the ring tempting you is not worth it. So most of those cards are pretty bad. I would stay away from that mechanic. I think it's pretty bad. The only time I ever saw it be useful, there were maybe 2 decks. The first one is the fact that it makes your creatures legendary. There's a Black Saga. There's a Black Saga that's called like All Will Be One or something. No, it's not that, but it's something like that. But anyway, 4 mana Black Saga. First step is like the ring tempts you, and oh gosh, I should have just pulled it up. But anyway, it's a sweeper that kills non-legendaries. So the point is, the ring tempting you makes your creature a legendary, and then it sweeps all the non-legendaries, so it kills everything besides the one that you designated as the ring bearer. So that's like one of the only good cards I saw with that. And then there's another card that whenever the ring tempts you, you can draw a card and pay 2 life. So that one was pretty good as long as you've got some life gain in your deck. But that's about it. So I think the ring mechanic is too weak. I would not recommend playing around that. Don't invest cards in that. It's just not good. The food is where it's at. The food mechanic very strong. And the amass mechanic also very strong. Orcish Bowmasters very, very good. Yeah. So that's my recommendations. I think we'll see some of those in historic. I'm definitely gonna make quite a few historic decks when the set first drops to try some stuff out. So yeah, check it out. And I'll still put some more early access videos online over the next day or 2 before the set comes out. So hope you enjoy that. All right, let's wrap it up there. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a good last few days of your standard format until the new set is coming out. Then we'll be playing some historic. So anyway, take care. See ya.